Today I talk about 3 primal movement concepts that you should implement in life and which fundamentally changed my relationship with my body, movement and the environment. And I also share with you how you can start implementing primal movements into your practice as a beginner and what I wished I knew when I started.
Primal movements are great because they add this function of complexity and rawness to your training practice. When lifting weights, doing push-ups, jumping jacks, lunges and squats, everything just seems so linear. Just like the fine sculptured streets, gardens and houses in suburbia. But our bodies evolved through hundreds of thousands of years. And we still have the same hardware as when we lived in those rough environments. But with civilization, we have gotten soft. And we are now using just a fraction of the movements that our body evolved for.
So yes, 3 primal movement concepts to add a little rawness, complexity and playfulness into your workouts and training practice.
Putting your hands on the ground and moving around just feels good. Spending a big chunk of my time close to the floor as a kid was normal. But as we get older, we tend to lose this habit. It's almost as if we forgot to coordinate our limbs to move around. Legs and arms have become separate from each other. We use our legs to walk and our arms to manipulate things. But very rarely do we coordinate our limbs in synchronization. With movements like crawling, the lizard walk, the crab slides or others, where we use our arms as a lever to move our body, we regain a sense of whole body movement because everything evolves much closer to our body's center. With movements like the Cossack squat, horse stance or the dragon squat, we train our legs to be strong and mobile at the same time. The ability to toggle between different height levels in a connected and fluid motion while moving should be an essential function of our legs. But to maintain this healthy function of our legs and joints, we must use it. So moving from Cossack squat to dragon squat to resting squat is one variation where we can start. Rolls and floor transitions. Learning how to fall, or in other words, how to transition smoothly to the floor and back up again, is so essential as a movement ability. It not only comes in handy if we trip and fall, but also develops control of our core and spinal movements. So starting with front and back rolls is an easy way to introduce floor work. You also can add side rolls to add more variety.
So where do I start as a complete beginner? The problem with these movements is that we quickly get overwhelmed because there are so many options and variation to combine. In the past, I simply didn't know where to start and simply switched to exercises that I knew, like doing push-ups, sit-ups and stuff like that. So the process I'm going to show you is a process I call self-restraint freedom. Self-restraint freedom is a way to reduce complexity of the movements to your ability. In the beginning, you need to learn specific movements. So in this stage, it's not important to combine all kinds of different elements and movements, but to get the technique and the quality right.
Here you want to focus on doing isolated exercises and doing the reps. For example, let's say you want to learn the Cossack side step, the forward roll and the lizard walk. Your workout at the first stage could be performing 3 to 5 sets of these isolated movements for 10 repetitions. After 2 weeks of doing these isolated exercises, you should be very familiar with those movements, and it shouldn't take a lot of thinking to perform them.
So the next stage is to combine these isolated elements to a more integrated workout.
You can integrate 2 movements and then progress to 3. After another 2 weeks of practice, you should be ready to move to the final stage, where you improvise with these elements. Even though you improvise, you still have the limitation of using only your chosen 3 movements. Doing 10 sets of 90-second improvisation will push your skills to a level where these elements become second nature to you.
So after that, you can add different or more elements to your self-restraint freedom container to make your practice a little more challenging.
But the more movements you have, the more combinations are possible. And with that, the likelihood of feeling overwhelmed increases.
So with the self-restraint freedom framework, you have a method to deal with complexity that I wished I had when I started. It would have saved me a lot of headaches and time where I felt overwhelmed or where I plateaued. Primal movements are great because those movements at one point become very natural. It's not just an exercise anymore. All of a sudden your surroundings become a playground. And you're not required to go into a gym or train at fixed times anymore because you can train everywhere. So suddenly a walk down the stairs can become a practice for you. Are there any other primal movement concepts that you would add to my list? If so, please let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching to the end, and I hope you found some valuable information for your practice or life, and see you next time. Bye. I actually squat a lot, even when I'm resting. To be honest, I don't usually squat on a couch, but now I do.